Welcome back to Geeking Things, and today we're going to talk about Joe Abercrombie's First Law. You're here with TEPH
Saidar?
and I have had one read through about 8 years ago on this, and this is Saidar's first read through. So
Yep.
we're about through the first 7 to 10 chapters, so we're going to take you through where we are and what we think at this time.
Right.
So the book starts out with Logan getting, what was it? The Shankers? Flatheads?
Yes, flatheads, which my first impression was I thought they were like some kind of a dinosaur or something. I don't know.
Yeah, when they were saying flathead, I thought it was like some type of mutant since I just finished Deathlands again.
Right.
So I was like, flatheads?
I was
Whatever.
I was thinking a little kid dinosaur movie.
Yeah. And he gets injured, right? He gets stabbed
Oh, yes.
in the leg.
That's right. He did get injured.
So he gets injured, and
I don't remember exactly what happens, to be honest.
yeah, he goes up to a survival place. And it's been a rough go because she just finished Wheel Time, I just finished Deathland, so we were both immersed in this huge story for such a long time. Then when you come back to do something, even though I listened to this so long ago, I've listened to Wheel Time 2 times since First Law. So it's almost all new to me. It comes back. I know about Logan, and I know about Baez.
Just real quick before we get too far away, based on what you said, I had just been listening to my second read through of Wheel of Time, and it left such a hole that the very next day I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the emptiness. I had to start something new, and I was like, okay, let's start the First Law.
Yeah, the first day you're like, no, I need some time to digest. And then the next day you're like,
I need
all right,
something to
let's
fill
do
this.
this.
Let's, fill this up. And then it was like, okay, let's jump into First Law. And I do remember the beginning being drawn in by the fact that, I don't know, his character just sounds so interesting. Like, Nine Fingers.
Yeah, and he's a badass, but the way he's portraying himself, he knows he's a piece of crap, but he's trying to be a better person. He's trying to do the right thing. Because along comes Malachus Kwai a little bit later, and what happens there? He does the right thing.
Yeah, he has the opportunity to, I guess he even thinks about it like, oh, that's one of the things I like about this series so far. I mean, it's only 7 or 10 chapters in, but
right.
I like the fact that all of the characters seem to have thoughts in their head a lot, and I have thoughts in my head a lot. When things are going on, I always think things. So I think it's really cool that these characters think things in their head, especially Glokta. I mean, we'll get to him in a minute.
Yeah, the monologues that they do.
Yes.
Not only they give you a little bit of background. Well, let's talk about Glokta.
Yeah.
Because that was the next part. Malachus Kwai a little bit later. But, we come across this guy Glokta, and he's like, he's limping. He's in pain. You're like,
what I actually started thinking about? Okay, being a big Sanderson fan, and I started thinking about not even Kaladin. What's his? What's the?
Talking about Mistborn.
Shallan's boy, the rich boy.
Oh.
Adolin. Is it Adolin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, but that's who I picture. I picture this guy and his glory and how awesome he was and how good of a fighter he was and all this great stuff. And then I imagine what happens if all this stuff happens to him. He's captured, he's tortured. They do all this stuff to him like they did to Glokta. And then you see his story afterwards, what happened, all this awful stuff. So then I come back to this actual character, Glokta, and I'm like, this poor guy. At one time he was all like, well, I mean, the shit. He was everybody's, on everybody's tongue.
A lot of torture is permanent. There's no fixing it unless you got the magic.
The limping
the
leg.
Limp, the teeth, the
the
jack-o'-lantern jaw they gave him.
He's looking for an Aes Sedai right now trying to get healed. Oh, poor guy.
Oh, even Nynaeve couldn't heal that poor guy.
That's a different story.
And then you hear about Glokta, and he was that guy. He was the hero. He was the duelist. He was the one. He wasn't the first one through the wall because that was West through the breach. First one in the breach was Commander West.
All right, yeah.
But he was there. But Commander West got recognized for it, and Glokta got captured and got tortured for 2-3 years?
Something 2 years.
Something like that.
Something straight like that. Yeah.
So poor guy. But then he starts torturing a false confession out of an innocent man. Well. Nobody's innocent in this book. Nobody's innocent.
This is how I'm taking it. They make you think that everybody a bastard, but they also make you think that maybe everybody's innocent, and you're like sitting there thinking, okay, wait a minute, I'm judging this guy thinking he's doing bad stuff to people, but then I'm going, wait a minute, we don't actually know why he's doing this stuff, and where is his agenda? Like, what exactly is his thing? As you get a little bit of his backstory, you start to kind of try to make some connections of what his thing might be, but it's still like I don't know yet. I just don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly what he's got going.
I know we get a lot more later, but like right now, yeah. So then it goes back to Logan walking through the woods, find a safe place.
And then he finds Malachus.
And he finds Malachus Quai.
Right.
And then a whole bunch of stuff. I re-listened to that chapter like 3 times. They run into the group of bandits or something, and a whole bunch of shit happens, and they lose the horse. and then... then he gets
hurt.
How
you simplify that.
And so Logan carries him on his back all the way to the city where his master is, who happens to be, what was his name? Baez. All right, so we were talking about Malachus Quai.
Right, so he's carrying him back on his shoulder, bleeding the whole time. I mean, and keep in mind, isn't Logan still injured too, himself?
Yeah, Logan's all bloodied and hurt.
So he's carrying this other bloodied up man who... is
he's
barely
passed
surviving
out,
and
unconscious.
has a fever and stuff, and gets him back to his master. And I have to say, when they first did encounter, so of course Logan doesn't think he's a wizard either.
Well, when they
Thinks
walk
he's a
in,
butcher.
they go to the normal guy that looks like the wizard, and the guy's like,
"Oh, that's not me. No,
that's not me.
No,
He's over there. The guy butchering meat with a meat cleaver. That's the first wizard." So he doesn't look like a wizard. He's not Gandalf. He's more like
bald.
The way they describe him, it reminds me of the Dreamwalker from The Sword of Truth, Jagang.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
is he buff like that? Is he big and muscular? Supposedly?
The guy's mistaken to be a butcher.
Oh, that's right.
You
I guess
know,
he would have to be a little bit bulky.
Yeah, he's kind of like Jagang. He's just not getting in your
it.
dreams.
I know they describe him a certain way, but because of his name and because he's the first wizard, I'm like, I can't help but try to. My brain dresses him up and makes him look more wizardy.
I keep hearing, what's the white wizard in Lord of the Rings?
Which Gandalf when he becomes white, or Sauron?
Sauron, yeah, that's Sauron. I keep kind of seeing him too, but more like Jagang. All right, so he's kind of rude to Malachus Quai. Where you been? Where's your studies at?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I can kind of see it on both sides. Like, on one side, I'm kind of mad that I'm like, dude, the guy, like, bled to death and still made it back to you. He was unconscious. Of course, he didn't have time to do any damn studies. But then, at the same time, I can kind of see where if the wizard was too soft on him, then he won't become a good wizard.
Right. And then he admits he was behind on his studies before he even left in the first place. So,
yes.
That's kind of probably where it came from. So, yeah, Baez is a dick.
Do you remember him?
He's an asshole.
Do you remember him cheating? Baez is asking him like
oh
names
yeah
and stuff, and he's kind of cheating with
it's
Logan.
9 fingers. Logan's like,
and he's like,
it's the special. It's for healing.
But he gives him a name that is localized.
Yeah.
That
only he gets found out because only a northerner would know that.
A non-northerner, I think. Didn't he say? Or did he say only somebody from the north? That's right. That's right. He does say only a northerner would know that. What's it actually called? Yeah, that's pretty funny. Okay, we have missed one big part. Besides the fact that they keep trying to, torture confessions out of people that didn't do anything except be in the wrong guild. And then we left out the fact about RD.
Who's RD?
West's sister.
Oh, yeah, RD. I saw the initials RD, and I'm like...
RD.
Oh, yeah.
So, Major West's sister. So, very...
and keep in mind, Major West is a commoner.
Very big personality.
He was first through the breach, so he got a lot of notoriety and fame and position, but that doesn't go for his sister.
And how she is, charming, bold, speaks her mind, but very beautiful and easy to be around.
Yeah, when Captain, how do you say his name? Jezebel?
No.
Giselle. He goes and meets her the first time. He's like, he's expecting her to be fat and ugly.
Yeah, and
then he opens the door. He's like, oh.
Okay, she's she's kind of attractive, I guess. Darn. She's kind of wow. She's really bold.
Yeah. Well, not around the same women he's used to in his, class of people.
And then, of course, there's the change that happens from that.
Yeah, later when Giselle decides he doesn't want to be a duelist anymore, right?
And he comes to see her well, not to
No.
see her. He comes to see her brother to say, hey, I'm quitting. And the brother's not there, but she's there, and she's, what, a little buzzed or something. And I don't know, I guess feeling bored and ignored. And taking it out on Giselle. He has already been through the ringer this day. He is not having it. He wants to quit. People are controlling his life. He's not having that. And then she just adds a cherry on the top.
So much that he changes his mind. He's like, you know what?
I'm
going to win it all. I'm
not
going
gonna
all
quit.
in.
Yeah, I'm going to win. I'm going to be awesome. And I'm going to show you guys. And it's like, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, but you're giving them all what they want. That's what they all want. Not what you want. But okay, cool. Do it, man.
I know we've been jumping around a bit, but it's easy to remember all the details.
That's how my brain thinks about the book. You know, it jumps the stories all around more like a Quentin Tarantino movie. Yeah.
Well, let's go back to Baez when it was when the King of the North and his son and the witch.
Bethard?
Yeah, and they come to visit him because they assume Bethard.
Yeah,
Sure.
that sounds right.
They have some weird ass names in this book, so.
Okay, so yes, the King of the North comes to visit them. Well, Northmen, sorry.
Yeah.
I always want to say King of the North, and when they say Northmen, I'm like, okay, King of the Northmen. All right,
And
go
then
on.
they were like assuming that Baez was on their side just because Baez agreed with them for one thing in the past, or he's like, well, you were a useful tool back then.
Yeah.
And then what do they do? They threaten him, right? The witch comes up and uses her special thing. Works on Logan. Logan's like, you're cool people. Yeah, we're chill. But Baez is like, you can't pull that shit here. Get that crap out of here. No. And, and then the tirade when after they threaten him, oh, we're going to do this, and we're going to they're going to swarm your lands. He's like, you're going to do what?
Yeah. He's all cool until he pulls a Yoda-ism out. He's like, break my land, you will? You know,
Yes.
It's like, do what to my what?
You can see him saying, thou shalt not pass.
I know, it's like when the room gets dark and Gandalf makes the room get all dark and he gets all big. It was
Yeah.
like, that's how I felt from it. I was like, oh no. They made him mad.
Baez is an awesome dick, too.
Fire? You remember the scene later, a little bit later, where he like busts out the white fire? Busts out? Really? Is that a word? He busts out? He uses the white fire.
Are you talking about Logan?
No.
Oh, because Logan can talk with spirits.
Yes, I know.
Remember?
He even says that. He says, but you're the only one that can talk with spirits. He's like, you're cool. And Logan's like, yeah, well, don't remind me pretty much. And he's like, I can't do that. And it's funny because I think it's
still
cute
don't
how
remember except for he blew the fire spirit in somebody's face.
Baez keeps saying to him stuff like, it's like he's pointing at him. He even said it to him once. You'd make a pretty good, you'd make a pretty good magus or whatever.
Yeah. Well,
and he's like, no, I don't think so, dude. But he's
he
like,
gives
dude, you
him
can do
a
this and
sword.
you can do that. He's like, yeah, I think you'll change your mind, man. I'm gonna hook you up anyways, whether you want to or not.
After he drops off Malachus Quai and they go, all right, shoo, go do your work. He's like, oh, come with me. And he's like, are you in need of a weapon? And he's like, I'm always in need of a weapon. What kind do you have? So they go start looking. He's like, here's a spear. He's like, if you have a spear, you need to have other friends with spears too. So then they eventually get to the sword. He's like, the sword is different. It speaks to you. He's like, what is this sword speaking to you now as I hold it? And Logan's like, right? And he's like, how about now? And he pulls out a little bit. And the way they're describing how he's standing, Logan's like, this guy gonna fucking cut my head off? What the fuck up, man? I'm like low on HP right now. I need like a health potion or something. And this guy's pulling out a sword and he could just like fucking burn me. You can bleep that, Sorry. It's the wine.
Beep. Okay.
And then, that whole scene, that was awesome. Just seeing, you really get to see that even though, what Logan is, on the battlefield, when he's not in that state, he is just this naive, innocent dog.
Dog, yes.
He's just this naive, innocent guy that really doesn't want any trouble. He's not looking for it. Trouble just finds him. Like, I don't think he got to this part yet. They walk into the city where Glockta is and everybody, and he's wondering why everybody's staring at him.
Yeah, I did get to that, but I don't remember exactly what it was. Everybody, because he's so dirty.
Yeah, everybody's
He's
like,
so dirty
do
and
these
bloody
people
and
know
stuff.
me? Why do I stand out? Yeah, like, I see Northmen here. I see these people. There's all these races. And the guy's like, you look like a dirty horse post.
Yes.
And it's like,
he says,
oh, yeah.
unwashed.
An unwashed
An
horse post.
unwashed horse post. I was like the visual of that.
So, yeah, I like Logan because he's real.
He's very real. Oh,
like-
there's not a character in this show that isn't real.
Yeah, everybody's real. I like Baez because he's such an total asshole to everybody. He's complete douchebag
But
dick.
he also doesn't take no crap. Like if someone tries to attack them,
If you're the first wizard,
they
you
get
wouldn't
attacked.
either.
They're like he's like smacking the horse on the rump to get Caide to take off or whatever. And he's shortly behind him or whatever. But then he's like fire out of the trees, like white fire out of the trees, and it's like blowing people and it's burning people up. And even the dude that came for Nine Fingers is like, dude, you were right. I should have never bent the knee to this guy and whatever. But hey, at least I'm glad it was you that takes me out. And of course, Logan's like, I'm not. And of course, he cuts him in half or something.
Yeah.
But that was an awesome scene.
Yes. And that's about as far as we are right
That's
now.
it.
I mean, there's all the little
That's
people
literally
like
my limit.
like
Where I'm at.
what's all the people? Severod and
Severard
Frost.
and Frost. They're
What
cool.
are they? They're
the
lectors,
practicals.
practicals.
They're the practicals.
So I guess they're like
cool.
little assistants. They're torturers in training. And one of them doesn't have a tongue, right? Is that Frost?
I think so.
Yeah.
And he's an albino.
And he's an albino with
And
no
he's
tongue.
large. Super large.
Yeah, and the other guy's like shaggy. He's all
And then he's got
scrawny.
Fenris the Feared. That's who works for Bethard, whatever.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, pronunciation, we
Yeah.
don't have it.
Beginner here.
You should hear us talk about wheel time names not happening. Teleranrioid?
Teleron
Probably
Riad.
not. See? I can't get it.
Teleron Riad, right?
The only reason I can say Nynaeve is because I heard it on audiobook.
It looked like Nina Eve.
Yeah, it's like,
but
Nina
close
Eve.
enough, whatever. Nina Eve. That's cool. Whatever.
Egwene? Egwene? No, it's like Eugene.
Looks like Egwene.
It's
with a Wayne.
Eugene.
Wen,
I'm sorry.
Egwene, maybe?
Egwene looks
I don't
like
know.
it's Eugene.
Either way, thanks for watching.
Please like and subscribe because it helps us. And
Please
it helps
subscribe. That's
Yes.
very important.
you. Bye, gamers. Welcome to this week's edition of Get Green.